Well, it's time now to review headlines on today's newspapers. And we have with us the ombudsman of this day and Arise Media Group, Kayode, the real master, Kayode Komolafe. We haven't seen you here in over, what, 2.5 months?
I'm so sorry.
And we've been doing the papers by ourselves, but I'm so glad that you are here.
For being absent.
Yes, thank you
very
much. It's so good to see you.
And happy New Year to you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's quickly jump into the newspaper review. KK, as we've always done, we'll start with this day on Sunday, the newspaper of record. Let's take it from top to bottom, actually. The window story says recapitalization, Access Bank, Zenith, Fidelity, FCMB reject 4.8 billion naira subscriptions. Subscriptions in compliance with CBN's guidelines. That's the story on the window, and the strip, beneath it, Southeast must connect to central government through APC. I'll connect Anambra in November, says Ganduje. That story is on page 12 of today's newspaper. And then below the masthead, Kwakwanso, Aregbesola hold strategic meeting in inverted comma in Lagos ahead of 2027. That picture and the story itself has been circulating since yesterday evening when the leader of the Kwankwansiya movement, former governor of Kano State, came to Lagos and, of course, met with the former governor of Osun State, Aregbesola. And the rider says ex-Kano governor's faction remains expelled, says NMPP factional national chairman. And the lead story itself, CNS, military has no excuse not to defeat terrorism, banditry, oil theft, other threats. That's the lead story for on the cover of ThisDay today. And I think that the cover picture is also important. It says, the caption, remembering Herbert, Chizoba, and Cheesy Wigwe 1 year after. And of course, that's showing the daughter and I believe family members. It says from left to right, late Herbert Wigwe's cousin and lawyer, Mr. Uche Wigwe, son David Wigwe, daughter Hannah Wigwe, Tochi Wigwe, elder sister to late Chizoba Wigwe, Paulina Nwuba, and chairman of Access Holding PLC, and Herbert Wigwe's partner, Aibuje Agimokwede, and a sister to Chizoba at the family tomb where Herbert, Chizoba, and Chizi Wigwe are buried at the Wigwe University in Isiokpo in Rivers State. That was yesterday, I believe, in commemoration of the 1 year anniversary of that tragic incident that happened in the United States of America. Yeah. So KK, those are the stories for your analysis before we go into ThisDay Style and other papers for today.
It would be nice for us to start by paying tribute to the late Herbert Wigwe, his wife Chizoba Wigwe, and of course Chizi Wigwe. I mean, yesterday was a somber experience. I believe today the Access Bank, they are going to be paying tribute for his 1 year remembrance, and we're going to be there to cover the whole event. But it is such a grim reminder of how fragile life is, really. I mean, the death of, and of course, Abimbola Ogunbanjo, the group chairman of the NGX group, also died in that fatal helicopter crash in Los Angeles, California. May their souls continue to rest in perfect peace. Mr. Komolafe.
Amen. Well put, Oji. Our loving thoughts should continue to be with the Wigwe family and the Ogunbanjo family, and continue to pray that may the souls of the departed continue to rest in peace.
Absolutely.
The lead story of this day on Sunday is a very important story. because it's a story from the security sector. More often than not, when you get story from that sector, it's either commentaries on the performance of the military and the security sector, in general, past verdicts, complete, criticism. But that was the occasion for the military establishment, to perhaps offer their own perspectives, at the weekend. And the occasion was the joint task force, commanders, the commanders in the various, theaters of operation. They had a conference at the defense headquarters in Abuja. And remarkably, the three service chiefs, the chief of naval staff, the chief of air staff, and the chief of army staff, spoke, on the occasion. The chief of air staff, made, the point that it's important, that, for the military, to succeed, it will require, the support, of the popular. I mean, the chief of naval staff. That is the Navy Marshal Ogala. He actually itemized the different powers that we'll have to combine, in fighting, the insurgency. Because according to him, the military has no excuse for not defeating terrorism, banditry, and other crimes. And why this is remarkable is that this is a departure from what we used to hear in the past.
Yes.
Once upon a time, one chief of army staff said that it would take us 15 years, to defeat terrorism. So if you say that was an optimistic note,
I hope that was not the chief of staff that got rewarded with an ambassadorial post.
Oh, well, I will leave it at that, Steve, Now, but here now, we have another service chief, Ogala, saying that there is no, in an upbeat mood and on a very optimistic note, saying that the military has no excuse, And I think that is very encouraging.
Very.
And the point they are making, therefore, should be well noted, by the public that they are serving, the nation they are serving, According to Ogala, that the powers that will combine, will include not just the military, the economy, the information, diplomacy, that these are other aspects, that we need to combine, in fighting it. And if you will, I will say that in that list, you should also include, the civil society, in this, so that all these powers will not be acting at cross purposes. For instance, the chief of army staff, General Lee, made a very important point, and that is the point that that the role of the media, in fighting the war, because at times we try to underplay the importance of information, the way the information of fighting any war, whether the conventional war or the asymmetric war, that is the type that the military is confronted with now. In fact, Ogala called it an irregular war. That the soldiers, the military, the training, they have is for the conventional war. But what they are now saddled with now is fighting, an irregular war. Therefore, the way the information is disseminated, and that is why they say that the factor of propaganda, is very important in war. So on a self-critical note, I think the media should take note of this, that a situation whereby the headlines, lionize the criminals, the bandits, the terrorists, and you are then there is hyper criticism of the military, without even empathy, about the sacrifices they are making. Because when we say, the military has failed, they are not up to task or whatever, people forget that in the course of fighting this war, which the output of which we find yet unsatisfactory. soldiers are killed, all the time, just like other security.
But the blame really should go more to the politicians, including those who are in power now, who used insecurity at that time to hammer on the fact that the president at that time needed to do more. I believe that would be the basis of why people today are also saying, oh, you too, you need to do more. You need to do more. Even though they do agree that, yes, the military is a huge sacrifice that, the military is making, particularly those who are in the front line.
Yes, I agree. Yes, the politicians thought they are bringing, but I'm saying that beyond the politician, in the civil society, and especially the media. Look, for instance, like the chief of air staff, said, Hassan Abubakar, says that it's because of the way the operations are conducted. That is why, for instance, the military, they have the problem, of accessing the weapons, that they need, exactly, that they need. So I'm saying that, the role, of other forces in society, apart from the military, is what they are playing. And I think the points, were well made during the conference. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well done, Mr. Komolafe. We'll now head over to ThisDay Style. And the cover picture for ThisDay Style, if you can pull that up, is Neya Kalu, leading with a purpose. Neya Kalu is the beautiful daughter of Orji Uzo Kalu. She's the chairman of Sun newspaper, who wears many hats. I mean, she has a chain of nail salons, and, she empowers women through her foundation, the Neya Kalu Foundation. I mean, it's no wonder that she was awarded ThisDay Young Global Leader Award during our ThisDay Awards. And I'll quickly read the cover note there. It's not every day you meet someone who seamlessly merges business acumen with a deep commitment to social impact. But Neya Kalu does it with an effortless grace that commands attention. A lawyer by training, an entrepreneur by passion, and a media executive by responsibility. She is redefining leadership in ways that transcend boardrooms. I love it. I love women in power, really, in Nigeria. I love it. Kudos to Neya, and she is really doing amazing.
She was on Perspectives last weekend.
Oh, she was, okay.
With the publisher of The Guardian,
right.
Lady Made in Hebrew.
Okay.
And Neya did give a good account of herself. I think it's the getaway place of the former governor of Abia State, Cam Neya. I think is named after the daughter. Oh. And for those who have been there, people talk about how beautiful, lush, and everything.
Wow, that was a pretty good balance with having Neya and Miss Ibru be on the show. I mean, Neya is young and she's the head chairman of the Sun newspaper, while Lady Ibru is the chairman of
It was a good pair. And
young and old of The Guardian, yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Congratulations, Neya.
All right, KK, we're running out of time, but, 3 important papers had political stories on their cover. The Punch, Tribune, and Vanguard. But I think we will have time for maybe just Punch, particularly 3 interesting stories that I would like to highlight so that maybe you might be interested in them. First is the lead on the cover of Sunday Punch. Northern ministers get marching orders to defend president as opposition grows. But of course, the rider says ministers simply doing their jobs. That's according to the presidency. But of course, the story is all about the fact that go and defend the president. There's a whole load of opposition from the north. Another political story on the left side of the window, cracks in Tinubu's dynasty as president locks horn with Lagos lawmakers, GSC, over Obasa. Obasa has been housed for about 2-3 weeks now, but then there's still a lot of back and forth as to whether his removal went through the proper channel, and there are insinuations that the big man in Abuja, even though he might not have issues with Obasa leaving, but the process of him leaving, might be an issue for him. And of course, federal government works on anti-depression facility for Trump's deportees, which is interesting. Yes, 3,000 more Nigerians are coming back home, but then will this facility be available for those that in the event that Kemi Badenoch becomes Prime Minister in the UK, those that she will send back to Nigeria, or those that are coming from Germany, other places, that people are still being deported, including South Africa. What are your thoughts, KK?
No, Steve, first of all, please don't be too cynical. I think you be optimistic, yeah. Yes, this story of Punch is interesting. I think the headline is putting the matter in the wrong way. I think the issue is not about defending the president. When you are in a government, you're part of a government, Steve, you have been in government before, you are a member of a cabinet, it is your responsibility to do what is called policy articulation. You know, to explain to the public. Every minister, every head of agency, I think an assignment, you know, that's the whole thing about accountability.
Yeah, correct.
You know, to be able to explain the program that you are, the policy you are executing, you know, to engage people, to deal with people will raise, you know, a question. So when a minister, you know, does political articulation, you know, it's not defending the president. Rather, he's doing his job,
yeah.
which the Constitution makes very compulsory. You know, that we should be accountable. I think it's been lacking at every level. At every level of government in this country, that those who are in government do not see policy articulation as one of their primary responsibilities.
Mr. Komolafe, it's always a pleasure to have you on our Sunday Tonic Morning program. We hope to see you next week Sunday. Yes.
No, KK is back.
He is back. Welcome back.
And you have the full 30 minutes next week
absolutely.
Sunday.
See you next week.
Thank you so much.
Well, all right.
All right. That brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching, and do stay safe. I'm Steve Ayorinde.
And I'm Ojiokwe. From our entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.